This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Shanta. Shanta is an entertainer, but she also loves to be entertained, which is why she has Flow TV brought to her through Flow's 100% fiber to the home network. It's great for busy Shanta because she can control the time she watches her favorite shows, play back from the start in case she missed it, or even record with cloud video recording. And with her Flow services bundle, enjoys much more for much less. Visit any Flow retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
Welcome to this Barbados Today news update for Friday, September 30. Thank you for joining us. I'm Desmond Brown. A prominent economist says Barbados lost about $22 million in productivity as a result of Wednesday's national shutdown caused by Tropical Storm Matthew. But according to Jeremy Stephen, the situation could have been a lot worse had there been a loss of life and property from a failure to allow the labor force adequate time to secure themselves, family, and property. Stevens said this would have presented major complications because of limited national insurance coverage. There's more details in our e-paper. Meantime, a prominent businessman has expressed the view that there's no law to penalize family-owned businesses if they decide to remain open during a state-declared national shutdown. But Ralph Busy Williams said if such businesses employ people from outside their family, those employees should not be forced to show up for work if the government says they should stay home.
If people freely want to work on that day, it's a matter for them. I don't think the government should. It is government's role to advise people what's in their best interest. Providing the people are not breaking the law, then I don't think that it should be penalized. And I don't think that any employee should be forced to work when the government has called a national shutdown.
Residents of White Hill, St. Andrew are pleading for assistance. They say they have been abandoned by the Ministry of Transport and Works and the Barbados Water Authority. When our news team visited the area today, the residents say not only have their taps been dry, but the roads in the community have been broken and abandoned since 2014.
The water situation stinks, and the people at Barbados Water Authority do not care. Point blank. Now, you see the response and Joseph people get because they protest. Everybody ain't gonna left and go and protest because they say it ain't gonna make no difference. Now, they carry buckets, they carry tank and everything and give St. Joseph people. Now, I was on in the media for God knows how long complaining about the situation in White Hill. For years, everybody know White Hill for two things: no road, no water. Everybody knows that is public knowledge.
The Barbados Fire Service this afternoon gave the all-clear for Tower 2 of the Warren's office complex to reopen for business. This follows a 10 a.m. evacuation of the estimated 300 workers from the office facility after a chemical leak from a battery sent a pungent scent throughout the 10-story building. The police public relations officer, acting inspector Roland Cobbler, who was at the scene, told Barbados Today that the battery has since been removed and a full security sweep carried out. The official all-clear was given at 1:35 p.m. However, up to 2:30 p.m. this afternoon, some departments, including the Barbados Revenue Authority, were yet to reopen. Emergency crews were this afternoon working to remove a high-tension cable which had fallen, making the road next to the Sharon Moravian Church in St. Thomas impassable. Police said motorists should avoid that area until further notice. One resident explained to our news team what happened.
It was just that I was, as usual, sitting down in the patio looking out on what was happening. And then I heard this explosion. At first, I wasn't aware of the fact that it was an explosion because a 40-foot container truck was coming up at the same time. And it looked like just when it got to where the transformer was, that we just heard, or I just heard, boom, boom, boom. But it also sounded like if something was dropped into a hole or ran on the sidewalk or something like that. Then I realized, well, obviously everything went out, all the radio, everything turned off. And the truck, the container, just drove past, which he had to do anyhow because it was an obvious little danger involved in it. He got out and came back, and then people started, not a lot of people, but people started to assemble to not like, most of about maybe 10 or 11 people.
There's regional and international news after this short break. It's a vision whose time has come. This November 29th, Digicel, Barbados is Music presents the most explosive array of titans to share Barbadian stage. Crossfire, Coalition, and Square One will descend upon Kensington Oval for the independent show that will be talked about for the next 50 years. Get your $80 tickets at all advertised box offices. New Look Boutique, Digicel Store DeCosta Mall, Praxis Clothing Store, Or Play Deli, ENV Music Supply Sheraton, Emerald City, Lewis Wildy, Eddie's Fight Sound, Upbeat Warrens and Sky Mall, and TicketPal.com. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Barbados' Music or call 832-0246 for more information. Digicel, Barbados is Music is sponsored by Remy Martin 1738, Douglas Hill Wines 98.1, The One, Banks, and Digicel.
In regional news, squatters living in a community on the outskirts of the Guyana capital, Georgetown, are calling on the authorities for help. The residents say anacondas have devoured their dogs and livestock, and now they fear for the safety of their children.
This is not abandoned land. It's a canal in North Rumveld. This canal separates about 300 squatters from abandoned sugarcane fields. It's a fertile ground for rearing reptiles, and the reptiles are there. The squatters say their dogs are disappearing, and now they're fearful that soon their children may also disappear.
Right now, we're frightened, we live in danger, because at squatting area we live in is unreasonable. Even if all the dogs, them don't start eat our children.
That was a squatter of the North Rumveld area who says she recently witnessed her dog being eaten by an anaconda. The canal was once used by Gaisuko to transport sugarcane in ponds. According to the residents, non-usage of the canal allowed it to become clogged, and that created the situation that is driving a lot of fear among parents for the safety of their little ones.
Since it's the pond and stop pass, there's the shape moody now you get in.
So what's the size of these reptiles?
This thing big and more than 1 ton. These things are big.
This is
carrying
the
big
body.
dogs.
The size of the body alone. So guess the length of the snake. Right now, that dog alone eating chicken, fowl, pig, sheep, bring everybody else have a big snake.
On the international scene, Russia is sending more warplanes to Syria to ramp up its campaign of airstrikes. Fighting intensified a week into a new Russian-backed government offensive to capture all of Syria's largest city and crush the last remaining urban stronghold of the rebellion. Hundreds of people have been killed in the bombing and many hundreds more wounded, with little access to treatment in hospitals that lack basic supplies.
Even the rescuers are overwhelmed. A 1-month-old baby girl pulled alive from the rubble in Idlib, where air raids in the area killed at least 6 people. The story is no different in Aleppo. The World Health Organization says hundreds of people, a third of them children, have been killed there in recent weeks. The WHO's head of humanitarian response, Rick Brennan, says some 850 people are also injured. Again, about a third of them children.
Many of them have life-threatening injuries and need access to essential health care. So we appeal to those who have the power to make things happen to let these people out.
Syrian and Russian allied airstrikes have intensified in Aleppo, and some 250,000 people are unable to evacuate. Moscow is defying global censure over its escalation of the bombings. But Russia is reportedly sending more warplanes to Syria to further ramp up its military campaign in support of Bashar al-Assad's regime.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We are on Izumi Media in bus terminals or Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Desmond Brown.